Hi there, it's Ian here, and you're watching Grumpy Opinions, the show where I'm going to tell you all about what I think of films, TV shows, games, and life in general. Let's get on with the show.
You think Connor was wrong?
I think you should stop whining.
I'm just saying, what if Lynn ain't moving his shit today?
What if you stopped asking questions?
What if you weren't such a dick?
What if when we're done here, we go to your house and I rape your mama?
What if you find her on top of your dad slamming a big black dildo in his ass while he's calling out my name?
Nice touch.
Thanks.
Sons of Anarchy is the ongoing drama series from FX Productions. It centres around the town of Charming and the motorcycle gang, the Sons of Anarchy, and their ongoing family disputes, gang warfares, and general nastiness. Episode 2, Toil and Till, is all about relationships, lies, and subterfuge, and also bullets, so not really any different from any other week. This week, the only people who are acting normally or with any good intentions are Nero, Wendy, and Wayne. In a move that isn't exactly unexpected, Juice ends up letting Wayne go, and after they have a wee manly heart-to-heart. And this sets Wayne off down the path of being nice and righteous, but of course, Wayne's still a cop, and he's just had this offer of being allowed to help out the new sheriff as kind of advisor and consultant, so he gets his cop head back on. Presumably he just wants to help everyone out, but that chance, Wayne, when did that ever happen on this show? Wendy and Nero, on the other hand, go out looking at nurseries and generally being good parents, and they spend a lot of the show bonding and chatting about their various past mistakes and their guilty consciences, and it's quite endearing. It's nice to see the actors getting a chance to stretch like that and do something that doesn't involve shouting or bad things happening. Meanwhile, Gemma gets full on inner angst after having a weepy chat with wee Abel about his dead mum, and then having another chat with Wayne. Jax meets up with Jury, the head of the Indian Hills chapter of the Sons of Anarchy, and gets him to bring in a few outside guys. But, importantly, he doesn't specify why, so Jury just gets in some good guys. Anyway, Jax has got a big hit planned on Lynn's men and their triad buyers, and sure enough, everything turns into a massive hail of bullets and stunts and car chases, and, the usual stuff. And it all seems to be going well, and Jack seems really pleased, and even offers to throw some extra cash to the hired help, which seems far too good to be true, especially for a pair of redneck hillbilly nobodies like this pair. Lynn, on the other hand, is anything but happy. He's really cross about his men dying and his loss of his money and his drugs, and first off confronts Nero and Wendy. And then he ends up having a go at Jax, who feigns complete ignorance and promises to find out who did it. Now, a common theme in Sons of Anarchy is people misunderstanding things, getting it wrong, getting things backward, and acting rashly because they don't really know the full outcome of things, and this is no different. Tellingly, early in the episode, Gemma ends up spotting Wayne's letter of authorization from the sheriff's department and the case file of Tara's murder, and looks rightly afraid, and we can pretty much guess that she's going to end up getting the wrong end of the stick of this, as usual. And it's then at the end that we see the predictable result of Jax's supposed generosity as the Sons of Anarchy go over to the two rednecks' house, and they malky both of them, making it look like an argument's gone horribly wrong. But of course, it then turns out later that one of the lads was actually the son of Jury, the Indian Hills chapter president, and had Jax only let him know what his plans were, he might have picked another two rednecks, but he didn't. And now we can only guess at what horrible things Jury's going to end up doing in retribution to Jax for the death of his son, because as we know, the only things that these bikers take more seriously than the club is their families, and retribution comes kinda hard in Sons of Anarchy world. So, is this the beginning of the end? Well, it's only episode 2, so let's just wait and see. So what did I think? Well, the second episode of any season can often be a bit slow-paced, usually because it's all set up for what's going to be coming down the line, and that makes sense. And a lot of this really is that. It's building on what was foundations of what was there from the previous episode, and the ongoing action. And speaking of action, we had some really good stuff going on here, and we also had some great acting from Jimmy Smits and Winter Avizola, Wendy. And we had the pair of them sitting around in the car, doing a lot of chatting and things. And it's really good to see that kind of little character development coming along, and lots of potential for upcoming storylines and later on stuff. As well as that, the episode had that continuing sense of dread and problems being set up, and Jack's spiral into new depths of self-destruction and anger and villainy are all coming together. I mean, we can really see that it's probably not going to end any way well at all for him. And it's all good, it's all interesting, it's propelling the show towards the inevitable climax. But the show also has all of the usual Sons of Anarchy silliness, with mistaken identities, mistaken intentions, bits of dramatic irony, people accidentally killing the wrong people end up doing stupid stuff. I mean, look at what we've got at this point. We've got Juice, who's still hanging around. There's absolutely no reason that he should have done. I mean, but you know that he can't leave because he's the only one that knows that Gemma killed Tara. And so it's presumably at some stage he's going to need to spill that information, probably just in the moments just before he presumably dies. And who knows who he's going to actually end up saying it to. And Gemma, she spends the whole episode not really doing anything sensible at all. I mean, the fact that she's noticed that Wayne's doing this undercover work for the police, although it's not really undercover, but she's going to presumably think that it is, and she's going to assume that he's turned against her, even though nothing in the history of the show has ever made it think that that was what he would do. And Jax asking for heavies and not actually mentioning that he needed them to be expendable is just careless. I mean, you think he'd have learned that by this point in the show, but nobody ever learns. Otherwise, people would have stopped listening to Gemma and all of her lies by the middle of season 2. It's that kind of show. And I know I don't like getting at the writing that much in it, but unfortunately, Sons of Anarchy's always had a problem in this regard of really, really obvious plotting where people make the same mistakes season in and season out. Now, obviously, you could say that that's the whole point of the show, that maybe it's all building towards this idea that maybe nobody learns, and this is what happens if you don't learn. Things come off really badly for you. But we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. So that until next week, I've been Ian, and these have been my grumpy opinions.